Greetings, Lake Point Church. This is Pastor Larry with a Connect Point message entitled To Hug or Not to Hug. Very timely message before our first live service in a number of months coming up this Sunday. But before I get into that specific, I'd like to just set the principle by looking at the Romans chapter 14 and chapter 15. That starts off, that passage, with talking about disputable matters or your opinions. That's the context of what we're talking about. And one of the specific items listed is whether or not to eat meat or to just be a vegetarian. And the Bible is pretty clear in that is a personal opinion, and that's not something that should be, it's not a moral issue. You're not right or wrong whether you choose to eat meat or choose not to eat meat. And I think we do a pretty good job here at Lake Point Church of being very gracious and serving people no matter which their preference is. I've been a part of a number of gatherings where we have provided food, and everything that I've been in charge of, we have always provided options for people, whether it's a medical condition. That's certainly something different than just a personal opinion. People that get sick when they eat a certain type of food. But even with the personal opinion, we've always had vegetarian dishes for people with no shame, no guilt, no problem with anything like that. And the attitude has simply been that is a decision that they make on their own, and it's not something that we need to get bothered about or to make judgment about. I think that's a good way of looking at it. So let's then switch to using that same principle, but coming into talking about to hug or not to hug. Because we've got, one of the things that we've been dealing with here in the leadership is what's the church going to look like when we reopen? And, because we've got people from A to Z. We've got people all over the map. We've got people that are saying, why did we even shut down? Why didn't we just keep meeting? And we got others that are saying, you know what? You can go ahead and open up whenever you want to, but it may be a while before we feel comfortable coming and physically being there. And wherever you're at, I think we need to realize that this isn't a moral issue, but this is one of those personal opinions. And let's use the same principles that were listed in Romans chapter 14 and chapter 15 about how to handle people that had a different opinion than we do. I like looking at Romans 14 verse 21 says, you know what? It's better not to do anything if it might cause another brother or sister, another believer to stumble. And that's the principle that I'd like for us to adopt going forward is maybe you're coming to one of the services and you are, you're just very free. Maybe you're a hugger and you cannot wait to get to church and get your arms around everybody that you're greeting. Well, that may serve you, but I'm going to ask you if you would to stop and think, what will that do for the other person? Are they welcoming that contact? Others will, number will, but there'll be some that won't. And are you acting in love towards them if you're imposing your freedom on them when they don't feel quite as free to do that? And so what I'm simply asking is why don't we do this? Why don't we let the other person be the judge? Why don't we let the other person decide how extensive a greeting we're going to give them? That's what I've been doing over the last few weeks of things that have opened up more. And it's a little bit awkward, but it's kind of interesting when you come into meeting somebody or greeting somebody and you look at them and say, you okay to shake hands? You okay to hug? Or you just want to do a social distance wave? But I think it's been a good goal to be respectful of the other person. And if somebody's willing to hug, yeah, I'll give them a hug. Somebody's more comfortable with just a handshake, I'll give them just a handshake. I just a few weeks ago was at a family gathering of relatives, and in that family gathering, it was the same A to Z. There were people that I just gave a wave at from 5, 6 feet away. Others I gave a great big bear hug. But that was what they were comfortable with. Romans 15:1 says, we who are strong must be considerate of those who are sensitive about things like this. We must not just please ourselves. And that's what I'm saying here. Let's not live just to please ourselves, but let's be considerate of others, thinking about others. And as we come into the service, whether you come to the first service, where we're asking people to wear masks and be very respectful of distancing, or whether we're coming to the second service, which masks are going to be optional, and we won't be quite as restrictive. But even in that setting, there'll be some people they're not ready for a great big welcoming bear hug. That would make them very uncomfortable. And so don't use your freedom to do something that would cause someone else to be uncomfortable. But let's make it our goal to live not just to please ourselves, but to please people around us. And when we do that, I believe we'll find ourselves pleasing God, and that's what we're really wanting to do. God bless you.